Howdy, gang. Prep Rebel here. There are a few things that really pick my ass. Sorry, but I'm gonna put it that way. If you cannot pronounce a country's name correctly, then you need to stop doing it. It's not Eritrea. It's not Eritrea. It's Eritrea. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is Eritrea has a whole bunch of immigrants that have come to Canada. Both sides, both factions. Okay? Not everybody in Eritrea agrees with each other. Therefore, there are, how can I put this? Clashes between the Eritrean factions that have emigrated to Canada. We had a big thing in Calgary a few nights ago where Eritrean factions were going at it against each other. Against each other. And they're all wanting to immigrate here. Okay, so here's the thing. Don't bring your fucking wars. And I'm saying don't bring your fucking wars that you have on your continent to a different continent. Especially don't bring them to Canada. Don't bring them to the United States. Don't bring them to North America. This is bullshit. And I'm sorry, I'm not reacting, I'm responding to this. Because I saw this 2-3 days ago. And you know what? It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And it's not just the Eritreans. It is so many other countries that are bringing their refugees into whatever country it is. And the United States, through the Mexican border, is bringing all of this crap into the U.S. Do you guys agree with that? I don't think you do. At least I hope you don't. Because if that's what you're asking for, that's exactly what you're going to get. The United States doesn't deserve that. The United States never deserved that. Neither does Canada. Neither does anywhere else in North America. And in North America, I'm going to include Mexico because Mexico is part of North America. After Mexico, it's South America. Okay? So, I'm just saying that, and that's my opinion. And that's my opinion alone. However you decide you want to define Mexico, that's up to you. But there is so much shit coming on and coming into these countries that we live in. Canada, the United States, and some parts of Mexico. Where all of a sudden, we're all being inundated with this bullshit. It ain't cool, folks. It ain't cool at all. Oh, by the way, Prep Rebel here. Sorry about that. I didn't add that at the beginning. At least I don't think I did. But my point is, why do we as United States and Canadian citizens have to deal with this? Well, I'll tell you. It's all because of, in the United States, Sleepy Joe and his policies. In Canada, it's Sparkle Socks Trudeau and his policies. Boy, I'll tell you, we are in a world of hurt. But those of us that are preppers and those of us that understand what's going on and do not appreciate what's going on, understand that this stuff that is going on will eventually end, and it will end badly for the people in power. I do not ever condone or recommend to anybody that you should follow the government blindly. That's a good way of putting it, yeah. Don't ever follow the government blindly, because if you do, well, then you get what you pay for. You get what you ask for. Okay? And for all you libtards out there that think, oh, no, everything's going to be fine. We're all going to be safe. We're all going to be looked after because the government's going to look after us. Yeah, welcome to the FEMA camp. Welcome to this camp. Welcome to this camp. All of a sudden, you're going to be going like, well, no, I didn't buy into this. I didn't buy into this, and this isn't what I was thinking about. Too fucking bad. That's what you got. That's what you wanted. That's what you got. And for all of you libtards out there that haven't woken up yet, right? And I'm not talking go woke, go broke. I'm talking wake the fuck up. If you don't understand that, and you don't wake up soon, you know what? You're going to wake up in front of 17 or 18 people with machine guns standing in front of you, and they're going to put you in the ground. Do you want to have that happen to you? I certainly don't want that to happen to me, or my family, or my friends, or my community. And I will do everything I can to stop that or prevent that from happening. Pinball put a really good spin on this the other day, and he said a few things that made a lot of sense to me. A couple other channels brought the same thing up, but in a different spin. And you know what? They made a lot of sense. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. Not the police, not the government, nobody. Nobody is coming to save you. The only person that can save you is you and the people that you are very, very, very close to. Meaning your family, your friends, your mag, the people that you absolutely trust implicitly. Other than that, if you don't trust them implicitly, are they going to jump over a puddle for you? If you're going to jump over an ocean for them? Probably not. Be very wary. Be very careful about who you bring into your groups. Because those people that you bring into your groups will have their own opinions on a lot of things. If they don't match your opinions and your values, and I'm going to say this, values, because it is values that are the one thing that count. If their values don't match your values, then you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt somewhere down the line. I can't tell you when, I can't tell you where, but eventually that stuff's going to come to light. And I don't wish that on anybody, because I want for me and mine the same as I want for you and yours. I want safety, I want comfort, and I want the ability to be able to look after everybody that I have held dear. and have held close, and that is in my group, if I have a group. If I don't have a group, then I want to make sure that I find people that are like-minded. Okay? That is the biggest challenge of any prepper out there that thinks they're going to go it alone. None of us can go it alone. We can try. But I guarantee you that eventually, somewhere along the line, each and every one of us needs help. Somewhere along the line. And somehow. And it may not present itself right away, but you know what? It is an inevitability, or it's inevitable, because we all are human beings. All right? We are all human beings, and we all make mistakes. We are all fallible. So remember this. No matter what we do as preppers, no matter what we do as people that want to survive, we have to rely on somebody. So make sure that the people that you have to rely on are trustworthy, upstanding, and will cover your back. Because if they're not going to cover your back, they're not going to cover anybody else's back. They're only going to look after themselves. That's the scary part of creating a group or a mag, and that is the scary part of being able to survive when shit hits the fan. Now, these are all my opinions, and you may not agree with them. You may agree with them, you may not. But whatever you believe in, whatever you agree with for yourself, make sure you look after yourself. Because if you don't, you're not going to last long. You're not. And there are probably 80% of the people out there that think, oh, I can do this on my own. None of us are Jeremiah Johnson. You don't know who Jeremiah Johnson is? Watch the movie, look up the reference, figure it out. None of us are Jeremiah Johnson. None of us are a mountain man. Okay? We may think we are, and some of us might be. But for 90% of us, if you're going to plan on just going into the mountains and living and subsisting and living and doing what you're going to do so you can survive, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I've been a guide for a long time. I've been guiding people for hunting trips for a long time. I have been in the military for 23 and a half years. And I retired 20 years ago from that. And I still live my life by that code. But you know what? I consider myself maybe this much more, which is like, well, if you were talking to somebody that you wanted to have your way with as a guy, this is 6 inches. But this is actually 3 centimeters. And it's not that big a thing. If you can figure out how to survive by doing that on your own, all the power to you. But I will guarantee you, 90% of the people will not ever survive that. I mean, I've lived in the bush probably 80% of my life, not including the military. And the military taught me a whole lot of things. And I spent a lot of time in the bush with the military. But you know what? Even the military didn't teach me all of this stuff I needed to know. I had to learn a lot of it by trial and error. And And I ended up coming out of the bush with a lot of wounds, a lot of injuries, and a lot of pain. I would not wish that on anybody. But if you're deciding that you're gonna go into the bush and survive like that, I want you to comprehend and understand one thing. If you do not have the wherewithal to make it day by day by day, no matter what happens, no matter how it happens, you will not survive. Okay? A lot of these channels that I watch a lot of survival channels. These ultimate survivors or ultimate survivalists, yeah, sure, they're good. They're good at what they do. They might survive. But I will guarantee you this. None of us survives in the bush alone. Ever. None of us. Not 1% of 1%. Because each and every one of us will sometime and somewhere and somehow encounter something in the bush that will take our lives. I've seen it too many times. Listen here, Mr. Jones, don't go take a picture of that bear, because that bear will come and attack you, for instance. Mr. Jones, don't go and try and take pictures of those critters over there, because there are wolves around. Or there are foxes around. Or there are, even worse, mountain lions around. You know? Listen to the voice inside your head, because it will never direct you wrong. But also, listen to that little voice that's in here, in your heart, because that will tell you and guide you to where that little voice up here is telling you that you don't need to go or don't want to go. Listen to both of those, your head and your heart, not just one or the other. Because if you only listen to one and not the other, you're screwed. All right? I have been 90% of my life in the bush. I was a sniper. I was this, I was that in the army. You know, I mean, that's old history for me. And that is a perishable skill. I couldn't shoot today what I used to shoot 10 years ago. And even though I think I could up here, no, sorry. And you know why? Because I have these big floaters in the back of my eyes right now that after cataract surgery, because I'm that old, the doctors say, well, yeah, you know, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. No, I don't want to get used to it. I want the floaters gone. They weren't supposed to be there to begin with. But you know what? People will not recognize that. They will not accept that. They will think, oh, I can do this. I can live in the bush by myself. Okay, so if you're going to live in the bush by yourself, without a family, or even with a family, do you have the wherewithal to grow your own food? Do you have the wherewithal to hunt and be able to skin that food? And be able to cut and butcher that food? Pinball put out a great video the other day. I think it was a rabbit or maybe it was a squirrel. I think it was a rabbit. But how many people, how many of you out there can actually physically do that without losing your minds, basically? If you can, I'm proud of you. If you can't, I'm proud of you too, because you understand that you can't. But that is what it takes to be able to survive in the bush. That is what it takes to be able to survive on your own. Okay? A lot of these people nowadays just don't understand it. Oh, I can go live in the bush. I'll go hunt and I'll go kill all my food and I'll just grow all my own food. Do you know how to make a garden? Do you know how to make a garden proliferate? Do you know how to make a garden give you endless food for you and your family, or you and your mag, or you and your people, however you want to put it? Can you do that? Do you have other people in that group that can help you with that? Do they know what they're doing? Or are you going to grow like what I had this year in my little garden bed? 6 cucumbers. And 5 of them were good. The 6th one I didn't see. And that plant I have to pull tomorrow because it went to seed. There are no cucumbers going to be growing in that plant anymore this year, because I was not there to catch it, because I had to go do other stuff. Just saying. Can you grow corn? Can you grow squash? Do you like corn? Do you like squash? Those are the other questions you have to ask yourself. What do I want to grow that I will eat? And how can I grow that and make that my sustenance so that I can go further through the hungry times in the winter, because there is that hungry time during the winter when there's not a whole lot of vegetables. Do you know what vegetables you can grow in the spring? Do you know what vegetables you can grow in the summer? Do you know what vegetables you can grow in the fall that will sustain you through the winter? These are questions you need to seriously ask yourself, because if you don't ask yourself those questions, how are you going to learn? And this is the big thing for every single prepper, every single person out there. I need to learn how to do this. I need this skill. I need to figure out how I can do this so I can protect those people over there in the corner. I need to be able to teach them how to do this so that they can be sustainable on their own when I'm gone. Think. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. You have to know in here that you can do this and you can teach this to the people that are with you or under you or part of you. Okay? These are not just skills. They are intrinsic skills that you must know. And if you don't know them, then you better start learning them now. I grew up on a farm, okay? I never wanted to be a farmer. I never wanted to be a gardener. I never wanted to be anything but the rebel rouser that I was, okay? And now here I am at 67 going on 68, or 68 going on 69. Holy crap. 68 going on 69. And all of a sudden, the last 3-4 years, the year before COVID hit, I started thinking, I had better start learning some of these skills because I think it's important. And then COVID hit, and I've already got my first garden in, and I'm going, oh my God, thank God I've got a garden in. Well, it's not something that you automatically know. It's something that you have to learn by trial and error. And my first year, my garden was terrible. I got 1 cucumber, I got 1 tomato, I got 1 squash, and I got 32 peas and 15 beans. I got no zucchini. I got no anything else that I planted. The only other thing that I got that was actually fairly good was my potatoes. And I got 32 potatoes. And they were this big. They could fit in there. So 32 young potatoes. That wasn't going to take me through the winter. That wasn't going to take my family through the winter. That wasn't even going to take my dog through the winter. You have to learn the intricacies. The first year I put that garden in, I put in 17 tomato plants. I got one tomato. One. And it was a cherry tomato. It wasn't a beefsteak. It wasn't a big one. It was this big. I think it was the smallest cherry tomato I've ever seen. But I had nothing else growing on any of those branches, nothing else growing on any of those plants. Gardening is a learning experience, and it is a constantly evolving learning experience, to put it precisely. Okay? You have to understand that nothing comes easy. The only easy day was yesterday. And you have to learn these skills so that if you have to go and live in the bush with you and your family, or you're by yourself, you have to know how to do this stuff, because you have to be able to survive. You also have to learn how to forage. And you know, this is a very important thing. You have to know what to forage so that you don't kill yourself. That's just another topic, and that's a whole other video. Anyhow, this is like we're over 27 minutes now, and I just want you all to understand, and I want you all to know that I care for each and every one of you. But don't fool yourselves. Don't fool yourselves. Don't think that you can just go and do what you say you're going to do in the bush, because there's not going to be a whole lot of animals left if this shit hits the fan. You're going to be hunting a long, long time and find nothing. You're going to be fishing a long, long time and find nothing, because it's going to be all fished out. It's going to be all hunted out, and you are going to be living on bark and hopefully good mushrooms and stuff that is growing, as long as it doesn't kill you. I truly want each and every one of you to learn these skills, because you need to know this stuff. And the other part of this, which is another video that I'm going to do, is the medical side of it. Because if you get hurt, you seriously need to know how to heal yourself. And when a doctor's not available and all you have is what you know in your head, think about it. Start looking up and learning, and seriously learning about herbology and all of that stuff, because that will be the way that you're able to at least hopefully help yourself. All right? I love each and every one of you. I pray for each and every one of you. And God bless each and every one of you. Don't let the devil do